This video is going to be brought to you by RapidX Gaming Chairs. Get 10% off your own chair with the code Curios. I've gotten a chance to use their chairs myself, and my butt's never felt better. So don't sit in squalor. Get your own chair at rapidx.io or by following the link in the description. Hello everybody, Disciple here with Hearthstone Curios. Hearthstone and other card games are pretty unique in the fact that even a relatively new player can have the best tools they need for the game, whether it's through building a budget high-tier deck or by spending money for a more expensive one. Still though, the best decks aren't the only things you need to do well on the ladder, and if you're spending lots of time playing high-tier decks and not hitting high ranks, you might need to work on your general strategy a little bit more. That's why today we thought we'd talk about some tips and tricks from a legend player that can improve your overall skill and results. Some of these might seem like pretty simple things, but they're definitely things we still see people mess up on the ladder all the time, so let's get right into it. First off, one that seems pretty simple but is very important is to take more time on your mulligan. A lot of players nowadays tend to just autopilot for cards they've seen in mulligan guides and look for a good curve. While there are definitely some decks where you can sort of auto-mulligan, like Druid looking for ramp, or aggro decks looking for their 1 and 2 drops, the mulligan phase sets you up for the rest of the game, and making bad or thoughtless mulligan decisions can lower your win rate a whole lot from what it could be otherwise. You should think about what deck your opponent is likely playing, and what the common plays are for that deck on the first couple of turns for the game. Then you should think about what your ideal responses are going to be to those plays and mulligan accordingly. For example, you could keep a hand with a good curve as Zoo, but if it doesn't have any Flame Imps or ways to buff your 1-drop, then you might have a hard time dealing with Tunnel Trog or Norshire Cleric and sticking on the board early, so you should probably mulligan for ways to contest those 1-drops against a Priest or a Shaman. Next up, make sure you always have a plan for when to use the coin. And unless there's a high impact play you want to make later, like coining out Reno against Warrior or coining out Emperor Thaurissan to hit your hand, then you should probably try and use it earlier rather than later, since if you're sitting on 10 mana and the coin, it's going to be far less efficient. The next tip is a little bit more meta specific, but for the love of God, stop playing your dirty rat against mid-range and control decks on turn 2. Way too often it'll just pull a Ragnaros or any strong minion and you're going to lose the game. It's a little crazy how often people play it against me as a Warlock when, sure, sometimes it'll pull Reno or Kazakus, but more often than not it'll just pull a 6/6 or even an Imgang boss, and it really won't be very efficient for them at all. Against aggressive decks, it might be okay to play it on turn 2, especially if you do have an AoE to follow it up, but you still have to be really careful for it and make sure you have an answer to everything. Against Pirate Warrior, it's probably safe, but if they do pull Leroy or a Kor'kron Elite, it's really not that good for you. Against Shaman, you should only do it if you're sure they're pure aggro, so if they played a Pirate, then you might be safe. If they played Trog or coined Totem Golem, then they could be mid-range, and if you pull a 7/7 or a Ragnaros or a 5/5 with Taunt, then you'll probably just lose right off the bat. Against mid-range and control decks, you should definitely save Dirty Rat till you're sure you can deal with even the worst case scenario to combo it with a huge board wipe or a very strong single target removal. Our number one tip is to work on weaving in your hero power and maximize its efficiency. Now this one kind of depends from class to class, but especially for mid-range or control decks, or even Zoo or Face Hunter for aggro, you really want to use your hero power as much as you can, and we really don't see people using it effectively enough. Now obviously you shouldn't use it over things like playing a perfect curve, but remember that your hero power is a renewable resource while cards in your hand really aren't. If for example you're playing Hunter and you don't use a kill command one turn, you can always just use it later, but if you don't use your hero power that turn, that's 2 damage that you're never going to get back. Now obviously this is often outweighed by the fact that you can deal more damage by developing minions early on or things like that, but in general, you should try to balance playing your cards and using your hero power so that you can optimize the value from both of them. So those were some pretty general tips, and a lot of you guys are going to say that you knew those already, but if you really keep those in mind when you go into your next games, I think you might actually identify a few mistakes that you tend to be making through the game. What's your guys' favorite piece of Hearthstone advice you'd like to give to someone who's looking to climb? Let us know in the comments. It looks like that's going to be it from us today. If you enjoyed the video, we'd love it if you'd like and subscribe for more videos in the future. And I'll see you guys next time.